Weavings come about? That's a story that started a number of years ago. Actually, it started even before that. I was very, very interested, really drawn to spider pipes and ant pipes, the pipes that have the effigies, the pictures carved of an ant or a spider on them. And I didn't really know exactly why. I just was really compelled by the concept. I looked at a lot of different pipes for many years, having studied and lived with a number of different Native Americans, my teachers included. They use pipes too. They're just really different, really small, little bitty pipes. And there are stories of ants and spiders and other native stories, the myths about spiders and ants and how that fits into their whole way of thinking, their way of living, of the thought about what life is. When Helmut and I first moved to Santa Fe, there was a flea market here in Tasuke. And we went there, and it was really a cool flea market back then. It was a real flea market. Everybody that was there pretty much were not professional vendors. They just had a bunch of stuff, their stuff, brought it and offered it for sale. There was this old guy that had lots and lots of all kinds of strange stuff and a lot of Indian stuff. And he had these two black stone pipes. One was an ant and one was kind of a nebulous shape, hard to tell what it was supposed to be. And he thought they were from the mound builders. I really, really liked them. I liked the feeling of them and the look of them. They were really, especially the ant pipe, held a lot of mystery, a lot of mysterious feeling with it. I don't know if they really and truly were mound builder pipes or if they were imitations, but they were way too expensive for us. So, that was that. We didn't try to buy them. But I still think about them, obviously, even to this day, after 20 years. So down the road a piece, doing lots of classes, doing lots of ceremonies, and at least once a year, a vision quest, a Hetakas style vision quest, which is pretty different than what most people are familiar with. Most people are familiar with vision quests from the Plains Indians, Lakota people, and that involves fasting away from food, fasting away from water, trying to fast from sleep. That's really hard. And we go 1 to 4 days up, they call it going up on the mountain. So most locations, it is kind of uphill out in the wilderness, and you and a person helping you, the intercessor, builds an altar for you to spend your time in, and you take a pipe and you just talk with the spirits, talk with nature, talk with creator, ask questions, try to learn how to listen and feel. And I did one of those many years back. It's very different than the Hetakas. It's very beautiful. It is difficult with the fasting. If you're not used to that, if you haven't grown up with that, that can be very challenging. Can be even distracting for some people. The Hetakas, the Peruvian way is to not stress your body, not strain your body with all that strict fasting or trying to not sleep. Sometimes they go off in the wilderness and they definitely build an altar space, a holy sacred space to be in during that time. And it's a time of prayer and introspection. Sometimes elders would go with you and just be there kind of on the outskirts for support. And when you're really young, your first vision quest, those elders are usually like your grandparents. For girls, it would be their grandmother, aunties, other elder women, and they teach you. They give you lots and lots of lessons and stories, things to pray about, things to ask the spirits about. And it's an exquisite, beautiful time. But one of their basic concepts is to not do things that are going to distract your body, which is going to distract your mind and keep you from focusing on what you're really there for, which is to experience on a spiritual, non-linear level. So you eat, don't eat too much, but you make sure that you have enough food. Sleep, you have water or tea, and you do your best to just keep focusing on what you're there for. That kind of vision quest can last a day, it can last 2 weeks, it can last a month or more. And so I would try to do one of these vision quests for usually somewhere around 2, maybe 3 weeks. And I would have a lot of subjects that I wanted to focus on, wanted to talk to the spirits about, and in a way, a little bit of planning. From our Western kind of point of view, we like to have things organized in our mind, our linear mind. But for this particular vision quest that was coming up, I thought I had everything really planned well. I had all kinds of things I was going to take care of, making some medicine bags, working on some pipes, and a lot of questions for the spirits about certain subjects. But that's not what they wanted. That's not what they did at all. So what happened was that I was in the shower and washing my hair and scrubbing, and so I got my eyes closed most of the time so I don't get the soap, and I felt this big presence in the room, in the shower, and I was sure it must be Helmut coming into the bathroom, into the shower. And so I'm, splashing the soap off my eyes and trying to peek through. Is that you? Is that you? No. He wasn't in the bathroom. He wasn't in the bedroom. He wasn't in anywhere near the side of the house at all. But what I saw on the wall at eye level was this little tiny, very bright red spider. And the legs, the whole body, everything. Super bright red. It was maybe a quarter of an inch long and wide if you count the width with the legs and everything. And then she was just right there and pretty close to me, to my face. And that was the presence that I felt. That was the big personage that came into the shower. And so I said, hi. And this is, a shower with water. The water's coming down, and I'm really afraid you're going to get splashed and get hurt. and I don't want anything to happen to you. Should I help you out of the shower? And the little spider didn't want to go. No, I'm here to talk to you. She says, I want to live in the spider pipe, your altar that's on the other side of this wall. I want to live in the spider pipe that's in the altar. And I got really, really confused. I didn't want to insult this cute little spider, but there was no spider pipe in my altar. There hadn't been. I had not found any spider pipe. They're very rare, actually. Ant and spider pipes are really, really, really rare. And so I very politely, I didn't want to be rude or insulting, because when you're talking to a creature like this of nature, you're talking with the spirits. It's their spirit, and maybe even more than just them as an individual. You might be talking to the whole nation. So I didn't want to be upsetting or rude in any way whatsoever. So I'm very apologetic. I'm saying to the spider that there's no spider pipe in my altar. There's nothing there. There's no spider effigy. I don't have a fetish. I don't have anything at all in the altar that has to do with spider. I would like to, but you're mistaken. Maybe I don't want to be that rude, but I don't understand. And she said, you're going to have a spider pipe there, and I want to live in it. I want to be the spirit that lives in the spider pipe. And I said, oh my God, well, I'd be really, really, really honored. This would be such an incredible honor. So we'll keep working on finding a spider pipe. So I did. I hunted, but didn't find. I put the word out to different people, friends that I know in the Indian communities. No, like I said, really, really rare, and they're extremely special when they do exist. So what the spider said, I want you to start tomorrow on a vision quest. I wasn't going to do this for like another month or something, but tomorrow, you have to start right now. And you're going to be there at least 2 weeks. 3 weeks is better. So I wasn't set up for that at all. I had appointments. I had life was already organized. But so I had to rearrange everything. I had to fix everything. I had to set my whole office up to be able to build an altar. The spider wanted me to build a really big altar on a blanket that would cover most of the floor. So I only had a space big enough to just barely walk around the blanket. And she said, put all your sacred objects out, all of them, open them all up and put them all out. And we're going to talk about spider pipes and ant pipes and weavings. And I had no idea what weavings were. So that piqued my curiosity a lot. And she said, don't dilly-dally. This is important. It's time sensitive. So you need to start tomorrow. And I did. Sometimes these things get confusing for the people that are around you when you have to just suddenly stop everything, switch gears, do something else, something very different. But I'm lucky to have Helmut around. By then, he wasn't entirely all that surprised at such things happening. So makes it a little easier. So in the course of my vision quest, I did a lot of journeys with the spirits, especially the ant and the spider spirits. And they took me back to the mound builder time. A lot of journeys. So journeying back. And I discovered that I had a lifetime there. And in the early times of mound builders, they were here much, much earlier than archaeology has been willing to admit. I was in a mound builder culture city that was not close to the Gulf, but a little north, up inland. And it was going to be a big city. It was still being built. There were still a lot of people who were migrating and coming into the American continent and collecting together, building cities. So at that time, this was, I don't know how to describe this. English just doesn't always have all the right words to say the kind of things that we need to say when we're trying to talk about spiritual things and spiritual events. It turns out that weaving ceremonies are not a brand new thing. They've been happening over and over again, and they happen when it is what a lot of Native people call the end of one world and the beginning of the next, the new world. And so this was the time of the ending of the last world. We're currently in the ending of our world that we know, our current time. And we're about to be beginning a brand new world. So this was the in-between time, the bridge time between the last world and the one that we know now. This is when the weavings happen. And the weavings are literally helping to reconstruct the web of life, the web of life of our planet and everything on it. The Hetakas, the Egyptians as well, the ancient predynastic Egyptians, talked about this web, this blueprint for all existence. Everything has a blueprint. Everything has this web. And we can change it. We can alter it. We can fix it and heal it with our intent. If we know how to use and focus that intent and how to make it work with the web of something like a human body or the plants in your garden or your pets, your domesticated farm animals, anything, because everything has a blueprint. Everything has a web. Everything is part of this giant web of life. So a weaving ceremony is cleaning out the old and dysfunctional parts of the web of our planet and building new webs, putting the energies and the intent and the love into the healing process to build a new web. There was also weaving ceremonies in the changing between worlds before. And some people call the world that we're in the fourth world. We're about to go to the fifth. And some people say we're in the fifth world. And others say, no, that's not correct either. They all have their own way of counting how many worlds there has been. So if you just think about the time, the bridge times between the dying out world and a brand new world coming, just beginning to form, that's when the weavings happen, so that we can weave a better culture for humanity. We can weave healing into our planet, into our human bodies, into the plant nations and the animal nations. They gave me lots of teachings, lots and lots of teachings about what the web is and how it works inside us as humans and other living things, and even in things like rocks, the dirt, the rocks, the planet itself, the whole planet, and all the space between our planet and other heavenly bodies, the moon, the sun, the other planets, other star systems. Everything's part of the web. But we need to take responsibility and fix the damage that we have caused in the web.